Past continuous. Rules. Past continuous affirmative form. I, he, she, it. Plus the verb was followed by the verb and ing. For example, Paul was writing a letter when everything happened. You, we, they, followed by the verb were and the verb plus ing. For example, Frank and Alice were talking about their family. The lady was dancing when the accident took place. Anne was reading a book when people started shouting. Both friends were drinking beer when they heard a loud sound. Past continuous, negative form. I, he, she, it, plus wasn't or was not, followed by the verb with ing. Paul wasn't reading a postcard where everything happened. You, we, they, followed by weren't or were not, and the verb with ing. Frank and Alice weren't walking on the deck. Tom wasn't playing the piano when the accident happened. He was playing the violin. Mr. Andrews and his wife weren't sleeping. They were dancing. Have a look at this sentence. How many little sentences can you see in it? Joshua was reading a book when the train stopped. Joshua was reading a book is one little sentence. The train stopped is the second little sentence. Joshua was reading a book. 1. The train stopped. 2. Which is the action in the first little sentence? Which tense is it? The action is was reading and the tense is past continuous. Which is the action in the second little sentence and which tense is it? The action is stopped and the tense is simple past. Past continuous, use 1. We use this tense to describe an activity happening in the past that was interrupted. The action in progress should go in the past continuous and the one that interrupted it in the simple past. The passengers were listening to the orchestra when the Titanic hit the iceberg. Where listening is the action in progress and it goes in the past continuous. Hit the iceberg. Hit is the action that interrupted the other one, so it should go in the simple past. Have a look at this sentence. Peter slept when the Titanic hit the iceberg. So, Peter sleep turns to was sleeping when the Titanic hit the iceberg. Was sleeping goes in the past continuous because it was interrupted by the action hit. Now have a look at this one. He had lunch when the ship stopped. Okay, so have lunch was the action that was interrupted. So, he was having lunch when the ship started. While they wait on deck, a sailor shouted. Okay, let's see. Wait is the action that was interrupted. So, while they were waiting on deck, a sailor shouted. Past continuous, use to. We also use this tense to talk about two actions happening at the same time in the past. For example, while the orchestra was playing music, the passengers were dancing. Playing music and dancing are two actions happening at the same time in the past. The captain was sleeping while the sailors were steering the ship. Same case here. Was sleeping and were steering are both actions happening at the same time in the past. In this case, both actions were taking place at the same time. None interrupted the other. When and while. It introduces a short action that interrupted a longer one. Joshua was reading a book when a train stopped. Some passengers were sleeping when the ship hit the iceberg. When is followed by the simple past. Now, let's see while. While introduces a long action that was taking place in the past. While Joshua was reading a book, the train stopped. While some passengers were sleeping, the ship hit the iceberg. While is followed by the past continuous. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That's all for now. Don't miss the rest of my videos.